Hey, so it's been more than a month since I've touched the Best Friends to Dating Best Friends to Lovers book on Poe. So let's jump back into it. Let's pick up where we were, and in this video we are going to kind of reintroduce ourselves, figure out where we were, get re-familiar with the characters. So this is what I would do if, like right now, I haven't touched a book in a month, and I'm not really sure what's going on. But I want to actually finish this one. I don't just want to let it sit. I have a really hard time just letting books sit and then forgetting about them. It stays in the back of my mind. I also have a spreadsheet of all the books that I currently have going, and the ones that are currently being written and are not just, ideas that I thought of and I'll get to eventually, but the ones I've actually started are in bold and they're in a different color. And they really stand out. And whenever I look at that sheet, which is every morning because I just need to know what's going on and what my plan is for writing that day, it bothers me that they're still there. So let's jump back into this one. So, assuming that you have no idea what's going on in your book, which happens because, we get sidetracked. There are other projects, other new shiny things that we want to write about. I have, I think, 4 books going right now. This is just one of them. So let's jump right in. So I'm just going to go right here. This is Mistral Medium. There are, of course, Mistral Large out, Claude 3, Haiku, Sonic, and Opus are all out now. So in just a month, we have totally new toys to play with. But let's continue it with Mistral Medium until we run out of messages. Because right now what we're doing in Poe, completely free. We will run out of messages, and when we do, we'll just switch to another AI within Poe. Super simple. I'm going to go slow so that you can actually see what it's saying. And so I have the books open. I have them open in Google Docs right here because this book is not in Novel Crafter. The whole point of this book is to show you what you can do for absolutely free. I don't have a Poe subscription at this time. I probably will soon, but I don't know. I'm actually kind of liking Haiku right now. That's Claude Haiku, and it's incredibly cheap. And then for anything that Haiku kind of turns its nose up at, like violence or anything sexual, I'm liking Mistral Large. So maybe I'll hold off on a Poe subscription, but anyway, that's completely not part of this video. So here we are, best friends for years, yep. Okay, so it's Jamie and Alex. They have a mutual friend, Ryan. Okay, and then one really fun thing about Poe that you don't get from Novel Crafter is these little extra questions. And these can take you down whole new paths. They can really help with brainstorming. So like say you're like, hey, will Jamie confide in Rachel? And, they're roommates. They're probably really close friends. So let's see what Mistral Medium thinks. And then you're like, but what would Rachel do? Let's continue down this line of questioning. And then you're like, okay, which of these works best with Rachel's character? And then if you wanted to continue down with this brainstorm, can you provide an example of how Rachel might help Jamie come up with a plan to talk to Alex? See, that's what I absolutely love about Poe, that you don't really see in the other AIs. Well, this is a group of AIs, but you don't really see it in the other groups of AIs. Like, you're not going to get this through Open Router. Poe really helps with this kind of brainstorming, and that's something that I really like, and it's something that I use really often, especially when I'm first coming up with a story or when I get stuck. Because you can ask any of the AIs, hey, give me 3 ways to continue this chapter, and it'll give you 3 ways. But it doesn't give you these kind of suggestions that can really help you unlock new ideas and help you brainstorm things. So right now we are here. This is chapter 5. This is straight prose. So this hasn't really been edited. And then we have this, which chapter 5. Let's see if it matches up. Jamie in front of a full-length mirror. Yep. Alex picking her up. Alex picking her up. They drive to Sarah and Ryan's house. This is too much telling and not enough showing. I'm going to have that fixed. Please show this instead of telling. Want to see their dialogue. Okay, I don't need it to continue on, so I stopped it early. But here's some more of it telling instead of showing. But just by prompting, hey, stop doing that, we got some more dialogue. So that we can toss right in here. Nope, not like that. Oh my gosh, not like that. Paste without formatting, thank you. Alright, do we want them to continue on with their day and talking about things? Maybe. But let's do this. She's got this whole realization that Alex is fantastic as more than just a friend. And she's having some real deep feelings for him, some really romantic feelings. So let's expand that. And that's exactly what we're doing. It's just, please expand this. This is the chunk that's too short. Pop it in. That's one of the prompts that I use a lot, is please expand this, or please, show this instead of telling it. I need dialogue. I need more action. I need more emotion. Whatever you think it lacks, just prompt for it. I'm going to space this just a little bit so that I can see. Oh my gosh, not that. So let's see here. I'm actually going to go up here because, let's see, and I'm just editing this in real time too. What I like to do is, see, I've gone through this and edited it. That's why it looks like a normal book. I haven't done this yet, so that's where I know that I'm just needing to fix this. I'm probably just going to do chapter 5 in this video just because we're already at 11 minutes. And I don't want to make you guys sit through too much more. But we are going to get this book done together. It is, how many chapters? The outline has 18 chapters. I like 18 chapters. It's a nice number. It gives us a nice rising, a nice middle, and then a nice ending. But we don't have to do 18 chapters. We'll take a look at it. And then something cool, if you haven't played with Google Docs, is just Control-Shift-C, gives you your word count, and then you can just have it display word count while typing. So right here, see? And it's actually really helpful. The only thing that I like Novel Crafter over Google Docs, and the one reason that even if you don't use the AI in Novel Crafter, I think it's helpful, is that it'll, I mean, in addition to the codex, which is super helpful, but the Novel Crafter, just having it where it tells you how long your chapters are, I like having my chapters within maybe 300 words of each other. 500 is really stretching it for me. I like consistent chapters. You know, when you have a book that has, you know, a chapter that has 5K and then a chapter that has 500 words, that irritates me because it feels like, you know, either the 5,000 words was way too long and should have been cut and kind of made into 2 chapters, or the 500 words was just kind of sloppy and too short. And if it's multiple chapters that are just 500 words, they either needed to be expanded or combined into one chapter. That's how I read it. And so my preference is, you know, consistent chapter lengths. So that's something, for me at least, that I pay attention to, and I do each chapter once I get further into editing. I'll go through and I'll be like, okay, this chapter is XYZ, and I'll make a spreadsheet for it. I'm big on spreadsheets. They help keep me organized. So I can say, okay, chapter 1 is 1,600 words. Fine. Chapter 2 is XYZ. Actually, let's do that really quick. And I'll come right back to editing chapter 5. For chapter 1, I'm not including the actual chapter 1. You can, but... Alright, so chapter 1 is just over 1,000 words. It's a little bit short for a chapter for me. I prefer a little longer, but let me see here. Chapter 2 is definitely a little longer. I'm gonna have to fix that in editing. Chapter 2 is double that. So we're definitely going to be fixing that in editing. Chapter 3. And chapter 1 can definitely have some expansion done. Chapter 3 is going to be a shorter chapter just because of the page length. 1,600. So chapter 1 needs expanded. Chapter 2 needs expanded. Chapter 2, or chapter 3, I mean. Chapter 3 doesn't need as expanded, but it definitely needs some help. This looks like it's going to be closer to chapter 3. Yeah, so I'm okay with 4 and 2 how they are, but 1 and 3 need help. And then 5, as it is going to be kind of short. Maybe not. It's more to chapter 5 than I thought there was. Alright. Okay, so chapter 5, as it is, no expanding, is right where I want it to be. I'd like to say kind of the 1800 to 2200 for these chapters. So 1 needs help, 3 needs help, 2, 4, 5 are okay. But let's see what we're doing. And we're already at almost 9,000 words, so 5 chapters, 9,000 words, we're doing okay. Okay, I'm alright with that. This is the initial edit. I'm going to be doing a lot more edits, but this is just the initial. Is it okay enough to move on? Or is it something where we need to stop? Okay, this is probably going to need some more work, this second paragraph. Okay, this, I don't like the foreshadowing. So I am going to take that out. I'm just going to say, I'm going to take this. I'm reminding Mistral that we are still in chapter 5. Alright, Mistral. I'm going to let you keep going. There might be something useful in there. But for right now, this is what I'm grabbing. Or not. There we go. Alright. See, this I'm okay with because it's not so much foreshadowing, because of course it's going to be laughter, good food, and great conversation. That's what we expect when we go out with our friends. It's not going to be, she knew that it was going to be special, but she didn't know how special. That's not what we're doing right now. So we've got 2 versions of this that we can use. When Alex arrived to pick her up, Jamie couldn't help but feel a little giddy. Or we can do this. I like this version more. This seems sweet. This is, I mean, it's a borderline romantic, but people have been friends for a really long time. This is a little too showy. Yeah, I'm gonna not use most of that. Let's see here. I'm just gonna paste that. I am going to have them hug, so I'm going to bring that up here. Something cute. She's already blushed, but I do like this little bit of conversation here. So let's do this. Right, so this is okay, but it's a lot of dialogue, and let's try to break it up. I'm not telling it how I want it expanded, just expand this. I want more words. I want more directions, so let's see. That has nothing to do with the other thing. That's why I stopped it, because we are just expanding this part. Let's do sensory details. Since it kind of went off course before, let's give it a little bit more direction now. Yes, we are waiting, Mistral. Come on. Oh, okay. That's interesting. Alright, so we took this and turned it into this. Alright, so let's go through it again. Move her outside. Cute. Okay. And we didn't really see her trying on multiple outfits, but we can leave it. She's not wearing a black and white dress. Yeah, don't rely on the AI to notice consistency errors like that. Yeah, it's up to you to remember the continuity things like the color of his eyes or what color her dress is right now. Alright, I'm okay with that. We're definitely going to edit all this, but for this first pass, I'm okay with it. We don't really need to do that. We know that we're making small talk. Alright, so we've got this. Do I want to expand this a little bit? I might leave this part. This is very, it's almost foreshadowy. It's almost an info dump. I'm gonna have to think about this part. I don't know if I love it, but does he take her hand during this part? I'm gonna say no, he does not take her hand, and he does not touch her back or anything like that. Let's take a quick look at this part though. This is another easy prompt to use. How can this part be more strengthened to be more engaging? Right, see? That's an easy way to see what's going on and what we need to do to fix this. And then because Mistral Medium is amazing, here we go. It rewrote it without having to be asked. See, it's tighter, it's better, and all we had to do was say, how can we get this better? How can we strengthen this part? If you find a part in your book that's feeling a little weak, just ask the AI, how can we fix this? You're just having a conversation with the AI. I know Jamie's interested, I know Alex is interested, but right now they're still a little uncertain. So holding hands, small the back, feels a little too intimate, a little too romantic for right now. But he did open the door for her before, so let's have him open the door for her now. Okay, so there's 8 messages left. That's what this little pop-up means. So we are running out of messages for today, and that's okay. Yeah. We are using it for free, we understand. But we are getting a ton for free. Alright, this is going crazy. We're not using most of this. But let's take a look at this. Up to Sarah myself, she took a deep breath and pushed her doubts aside. Tonight was about having fun with her friends, not overthinking her feelings. This I don't love. What kind of flowers do I want there? Daffodils. Oh, thank you for correcting that. I like daffodils. They're in bloom right now. We're gonna get rid of this because this is no longer here. That's done. Yep, they already did that small talk bit. I do like this little bit, so let's do that. We're just gonna make some spaces here. We're not at the porch, we have to walk through the daffodils first, but let's do in the twilight. I don't know. We'll come back to it. This is just enough editing so that we can continue on to chapter 6. Not so much that we are getting bogged down in every single word choice. I didn't want her to feel embarrassed. There's really no reason to have her feel embarrassed. But I can see her feeling suddenly shy. Would also be okay with her blushing right now. Another thing that we're going to do in edits is all of this could feel, could see. We're getting rid of that. We can make it a lot more actiony just by doing she felt. So if you go through and just Control F, could, yeah. Some of these we can leave, but 101 of them in 9,000 words, we can definitely cut some of them. Get rid of this. Alright, we need a bridge between going up, ringing the doorbell, and Jamie, you look amazing. Super simple. So this ended up being a little bit of a longer video, but that's okay. And this is real-time editing, real-time going through the chapters, making sure that this first draft is as polished as we can possibly get it before we go through and do another round and then another round. I like to leave them for a little bit. I'm not saying months, because if I leave it for a month I might completely forget that it exists. But, well, no, because it's still going to be on my spreadsheet. It'll still be in bold reminding me that it's not done. But I like to leave it maybe for a few days and then come back to it, leave it for a few days, come back to it. That way it's not just back to back. I can't do back to back edits. Like, I can't just go through it one time and then be like, okay, let's do it all over again, because I'm not going to see the little things that need to be fixed. I'm only going to see those same things that I just fixed. So, you edit it, you leave it for a few days, you work on something else completely different. You come back to it, edit it again, another read through, work on something else completely different. Maybe, send it to your editor, send it to your beta readers, send it to your best friend, whatever you do, so that another set of eyes looks at it. Or, if you wanted to put individual chapters through an AI and be like, how can we strengthen this chapter? It can tell you. If you don't have a beta reader that you really trust, or maybe your beta reader is just bogged down, they're having life issues, they can't get back to you within, a month, that's okay. People have lives. The AI doesn't have a life, so it's always going to be there. If you want to run the same chapter 5 through, 50 times, go for it. It's okay with it. Yeah. I mean, I love my co-author, but he'd probably be like, hey, can we move on from chapter 5 at this point? And, honestly, I would too, but I want to make sure that chapter 5 is as good as possible before we move on to chapter 6. Especially because we still have to go through and expand a couple chapters. Thankfully, half the chapters are a good length, but, I don't love that chapter 1 is half the length that I want it to be. So let's take a look at this. Nope. Oh, I do that. It's not just a simple paste. That's fine. That's fine. I'm okay with that. Yeah, we'll go with that. Alright. Why are we shaking hands? Do men not hug? I'm not going to waste a question on that. If he's hugging Jamie, he's hugging Alex. Alright, let's expand this. Noisy dog drinking water. See, and then also notice what the AI likes to do repeatedly. Couldn't help but notice. Couldn't help but feel. So then if you see that, F, no. Couldn't help but. So in 9,000 words, we've got 26 instances of this. It's an AI thing, but definitely cut it out. A couple of them, but honestly, this many readers will start to notice. If you use one AI a lot, maybe you start to keep a spreadsheet of, hey, this is the thing, like twinkling city lights, warmth cascading over her. Couldn't help but. Now, if you use them and you notice them, keep a spreadsheet. Again, I like spreadsheets. I'm really big on them. But keep a spreadsheet, and then, when you're done editing, or even on your first pass, actually, just go through it. And then, if you have 3 in a 60K book, totally fine. I would leave that. But if you have, we're at 9,000 words and we have that many. So imagine what we'll have at a 60K book. That's way too many. Definitely need to cut them. And now that you're aware of them, cut them sooner. It's something that you can be on the lookout for. You don't necessarily need to get bogged down by them now, but keep them in a spreadsheet. Go back through them later. Alright, so we are here. And then let's see here. Nah, too much. See, and then take a look at this. Couldn't help but. Couldn't help but. Just be aware of those little AI phrases, those little things that get really annoying. Docs, why do you want to say that this is lambs? We don't have soft glow of the lambs. No. Excuse me, let's see here. Okay, I'm okay with that. We're gonna do red wine. Alright. I'm okay with this right now. This is another could see. We can just say saw. Make it simple. Couldn't help but feel. We can just do Jamie felt. Right, I'm okay with that. Could feel. We can make this easily into felt. Could see becomes saw. This is cliche, but I'll leave it for right now. I'm gonna get rid of this. We can get rid of this. Yeah, we are almost done with this chapter. Couldn't help but feel. Couldn't help but feel. And just say that she felt nervous. She felt. We can leave that. As they. No. We are definitely going to fix that. Okay, this is the exact same thing, so we're not doing that. I'm actually just going to toss this whole chapter, or that whole paragraph, which is fine. Could feel becomes felt. Didn't you just feel safe and secure in his arms? Yes. So we're not going to do that again. And she just melted into his embrace. See? And this is why AI is so nice to just have, like, even if you're not having it write all the prose, you have something where you're just like, hey, I'm not redoing this again. I'm not repeating the exact same thing, literally 3 paragraphs down. That's not happening. So what are some alternatives? Too sappy. And this is more like an end of the book thing. I mean, it's romantic, but let's save that kind of thing for the end of the book. Again, end of the book. Super cute, but end of the book. She's not really rebounding or anything, and she hasn't really been hurt in this last 5 chapters, so we're not using that. Super cute, but again, end of the book. So instead of that, let's do this. This one is still super romantic. I like this one. This one is romantic, but it's also, it's still friendly. It's not, he's my missing puzzle piece, or, deep sense of happiness and relief, or cherish in a way she hadn't known was possible. That's like last line of the book kind of thing, where you're just trying to make the reader go, oh, that's so sweet, I'm so glad that they got together. No, this is like, hey, it's really nice to have a hug from my best friend. Could see, we're not doing that, it's just basically saw. So we have this much more that we need to edit. Alright, so we're going to expand this. We have 3 messages left, so we'll be smart about how we get into the end of it. And I haven't changed any of my settings in here. This is literally the same Mistral Medium that you'd be using if you were in Poe. So it's plenty of goodness here. I really enjoy Poe. Especially because a lot of it can be done for free. There are some AIs within Poe that you have to pay for. It's part of their subscription. Their subscription really isn't that expensive, especially if you're using the more expensive AIs and you're doing a ton of it. Like if you're constantly using notifications. Interesting. If you're constantly using Claude Opus and you're writing, multiple 60K books a month with it, Poe might be the way to go for you. If you are using Claude Haiku, though, you probably wouldn't need that. Maybe just Open Router, because Haiku is so cheap. It's so cheap. But let's see what this looks like in here. Just going to drop it down and paste without formatting so that we don't get that funky format. Right, so we saw the uncertainty. Could see, we're just going to say saw. It's a nice little mind reader trick right there. Alright, center's clone, filter something. And we're feeling the warmth and yeah. We already had warmth rating off of him too as we were walking, so just get rid of that. We already talked about his smell up above. I love that there's sensory details, but we don't need to keep hyping on the same ones. He's warm, he's strong, he smells good. We're all good. Okay. Alright. Spontaneous kiss is nice. Could taste, should be tasted. When did he do mint? Instead of wine, the wine. Could see will be saw. Good, now we're lying to him. That's okay. Right. This is a little too foreshadowy. We don't need that. Is that the end? Nope, okay. Get rid of this. Let's see, if we're kissing, then we're not going to do this. Do we want him kissing her, or do we want to do, it's okay, I'm not sorry it happened? Thinking. Just going to do, he nodded. Then slowly, I'm going to do this. That way it makes it a little bit more up in the air, and it's not just he kissed her back right away. I want things to be a little uncertain between them because she just kissed her best friend. I'm okay with that. Alright, so here we are. Let's see where this chapter ended up as far as word count. Chapter 5. Okay. 2100, we're okay with that. Did I just notice that? Chapter 5. Ugh, no, we definitely have to fix that. We are not doing that. Alright, so chapter 2 looks like that. 3 is there. 4. 5. Alright. Enter chapter 6. And then go back over here. Chapter 5 is written. Okay, so chapter 6, what happens? Okay, so we're going on a camping trip. Alright, and then, okay. Hang on, we just did chapter 5. What are we doing? Okay. This was chapter 5, that's right. I wanted a chapter in between the chapters. So then, this becomes 6, if we even want to do. Maybe they have coffee first? I don't know. Are we going camping right away? Let's just do this really quickly. I really don't like misunderstandings in books, so I will probably edit that. I don't know. I'm big on communication. I'm big on, hey, if there's an issue, we're going to talk about it. Like, yes, if you're angry, go calm down, and then we'll talk about it when you're calm. But we're not going to let this big miscommunication thing continue on and ruin a perfectly good friendship and a perfectly good romantic relationship. Also, don't know if I'm going to have them get married. The AI is big on getting married. I don't know if I want to do that right now. So, there we go. Chapter 5 is written. Chapter 6. One more question of the AI. That'd be really sucky if Rachel really liked Alex. Let's see what the AI says to that. Yes, obviously, Mistral. It is important to consider the consequences. That's why I'm asking you. See, that's why we asked the AI. Oh, see? Super easy, super simple. And then because we aren't on a subscription and we ran out of messages for today, it says subscribe for more messages. We're not going to worry about it because we have everything we need for right now. And we are at 9,000 words. So we're doing great. You know, and we can decide, when was this? Did she ever talk to Rachel? I'm going to say chapter 6. Chapter 6, and I need this in bold, but Jamie maybe if I spell her name correctly. Alright, there we go. I will renumber those later, but this, I feel like, is a much better chapter 6 than we're instantly going to jump into, oh, we're going camping as a group. But there we are. We kind of know what chapter 6 is. We know what chapter 5 is. Chapter 5's done. We're back on the book that I let sit for a month and a half, which is not like me, but apparently I got distracted enough that I let it sit, which I'm glad to get back into it, because it deserves to be finished. They're cute together. They're going to have their nice little love story, and we'll write it together. Alright, thank you so much for watching.